Hi, my name is Jen and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be sort of a follow-up to a video that I made 8 months ago. That video was called Escaping Men's Prison by Popping on a Dress, and it was about the peculiar case of Kristoffer Johansson. Now, since that video was quite a while ago, and I'm sure not all of you have seen it, let me give you a quick recap. Kristoffer Johansson brutally murdered and maimed his ex-girlfriend. For this crime, he was not charged with murder, but with manslaughter, and he was sentenced to 10 years behind bars, and he was placed in a Class 1 facility for high-risk prisoners. The risk of him committing similar crimes again was deemed high. He then decided that he wanted to change gender. He was allowed to transition and was then approved to be moved to a female facility. After he was moved to the female facility on very questionable grounds to begin with, he made murder threats and behaved very poorly to the staff, and he also threatened to murder or snap the neck, is the direct quote, of a bunny who was living in that facility. A quote from an article reporting on this reads, "During her short stay, she collected a number of misconduct reports and several warnings, after behaving threateningly towards staff and refusing to work. I'm sorry to say, but I am making this video because this individual was in the end released after only serving 6 years. He is now free to roam the streets like any other regular citizen. After only serving 6 years, and before all of the body parts of his victim has even been found, he is enjoying complete freedom." So according to the newspaper Expressen, Kristoffer chose the name Kim Marie after his transition. It is unconfirmed, however, if that is his legal name, and on social media he uses the name Magdala Johansson. He has a Twitter, a Facebook, and an Instagram. I would recommend you to block him on all of those. I would assume that the reason why I cannot find any official information on his name or his locations is because he would have been granted secured identity or hidden identity because of the public's interest in his case. The risk for vigilante justice could be deemed quite high. I am making this video to beg for media's attention to this case and also to contribute to the public's knowledge of it. As a regular citizen, it is quite difficult for me to get more details. I couldn't even confirm that he was indeed free at first. I called the correctional center in Norrtälje, which is just north of Stockholm, to ask if I could get information on whether or not an inmate was free or not, and what they told me was that this information was deemed too private and was only reserved for the plaintiff or other individuals directly involved in the case. It was only when I could see for myself the pictures that he himself has posted on social media that reality became quite clear to me. He has posted recent pictures of himself enjoying a beer in Jönköping, visiting his old prison in Norrtälje as a free man, being out camping somewhere in Sweden, and also visiting Vadstena Castle, just to name a few locations. Details like where he lives are, like I said, unavailable. I don't know about you, but me personally, I would feel a lot safer if I was allowed access to information on whether or not my neighbor was a murderer. And think about the small town where he used to live. Like, does he go back there? How does that make the family and friends of his victim feel? And do his classmates and other people that he used to be around, do they feel safe? What are the town folk even to do when regular citizens aren't even allowed information on whether or not he's free? 6 years is very low for such a heinous crime as he has committed, and he is now threatening what he calls TERFs online, and he is contacting young people from the LGBTQ community. The person who first broke the news to me about Kim Johansson being free was journalist and media profile Cissi Wallin in a post she made about how much hate she gets and threats she gets for being a so-called TERF, or being put in the camp of the TERFs for just criticizing parts of the trans activism. She mentions, basically in passing, that she's been getting death threats from a known transgender murderer. And then she confirms in the comments that she was indeed talking about Kristoffer Johansson. She then also, a day later, makes an entire post dedicated to him. So this is what she put up on her Instagram. So these are picture evidence of what he has been doing online. Cissi Wallin claims that this brutal murderer has been seeking out young women who have liked posts in support of the women that he murdered and have been acting threatening towards them. The police do nothing, she says. She posts these pictures from his private Instagram account, where he is posing with weapons and with ammunition, saying that it is for turf hunting. He also has turf hunter in his description, in his bio. I have tried to get more information on all of this, but as I said, it's quite difficult for me as a private citizen. If you are one of the girls who has been contacted by this individual, please reach out and make his actions known. This individual cannot keep doing this. He is a very dangerous man, and he is deemed a high risk by professionals. Yesterday, he posted this disturbing image on his Instagram with an unknown individual in bed and with accompanying explicit description. Now that picture has been taken down, and I truly hope that this person in the picture is safe. The story is at its core about a man killing his ex-girlfriend, cutting her up, and hiding the body, being charged with manslaughter, and getting released after only serving 6 years while actively displaying poor behavior. It's a story about a man using the transgender card to get moved to a female facility, and then using the transgender card when he is released, to harass women. At its absolute core, this is a story of the continuous endangerment of women from one deranged biologically male individual who is continuously getting away with it. It was a feminist who broke the news. She has also been the most recent victim of him. He has even written in his bio that he is specifically anti-Cissi Wallin. So where are the feminists who are supposed to fight for women in this story? Silence. Why? Because Cissi Wallin has been critical of parts of the trans movement, because of how she worded herself. Feminists are completely uninterested in this story. No feminist is writing about it except for the so-called TERFs, who are completely blacklisted by the mainstream. Some, I am absolutely sure, don't want to talk about this due to the fear of drawing a target on their back, and I can understand that. At the same time, I feel that it is the responsibility of the LGBTQ activists to not allow these people to target their own, which I know that this man is doing. I am sure that he is not only targeting TERFs to harass them, but also targeting young LGBTQ people to try to connect to, and that can be dangerous too. I saw several such people in his Instagram interactions. It's important for everyone to know who this person is. It's a murderer who seems highly interested in young LGBTQ people and women. It should be in the feminists' highest priority to get the word out and his face out there so that young people don't interact. If the feminists truly care about young trans people, please get this message out to them. Whatever you do, do not interact with this person. He is dangerous. Do not engage. If you have family members online, or know of people in the trans community, or people who would be categorized as TERFs, show them this account and have them block it right away. So in conclusion, this video is not really a deep dive at all. It's just a heads up of what's happening. I will keep my eyes on this case. If you know anything, be sure to reach out to me. My Instagram DMs are open for you. If you have received any threats, save them and show them to the police. If you feel unsafe for any reason, let the police know. And all the journalists out there, please dig into this story and do what I, as a private citizen, cannot do. Use your journalistic tools and your journalistic passes to do research on this case thoroughly and get it out. I would love details on his transition behind bars. Why was that allowed? And I would also like to know what the evaluation was like that allowed him to be moved to a all-female facility. So yeah, that's all for today. This was kind of a heavy one, but yeah. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.